Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our show, Haunting the Afterlife Radio. I am your host, Suzie, and with me are my fabulous fellow hosts, Brian and Christina. How are you guys tonight?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
I am doing great.
Awesome, glad to hear. So,
Susie.
I'm good. Guys, we were supposed to have a very special guest tonight, William Tabone of Australian Paranormal Society. However, he has had a family emergency. So he's had to postpone. But we are not going to let you listeners and chatters down, and we have a backup show planned. So basically, what we're going to do is for those of you who missed our show debut back January 18th of 2019, where we kind of introduced ourselves to you as hosts, upcoming guests, our teams, and things like that. And we just had a really great show. We also talked about kinds of like our favorite locations, favorite types of equipment, how our show got started, just all kinds of fun stuff. And we also had you chatters involved asking you guys about your teams, what kinds of equipment you guys like to do, your favorite locations, things like that. So that's kind of how the show is going to go tonight. So, but I do want to say before we get started that I do definitely, and also us hosts, do want to throw open arms out to William Tabone and his family and just give love and light and peace and prayers to his family, what he's going through right now. And we will definitely have him back on, guys, as soon as he has some time to heal from everything. And so what do you guys think, Brian, Christina?
I agree 100%. Love and light goes out to him and his family. I hope that the everything is going good for them. I know that the process on dealing with this is going to take a while.
Yeah, definitely prayers and healings for his family.
Yeah,
we all have those emergencies, and things come up in life. That's life, but.
And this is also kind of like how things can go when you do a live show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and post his group page link here in chat so you guys can check him out. So there it is. And you guys, he is such an awesome person. And so is his wife and his family. I was very excited to have him on the show. And I just love, light, peace, big hugs. So check out his link. And again, we will be rescheduling him. So how do we want to start the show, you guys? Because this is very spur of the moment. But I think we can pull it off. Do you guys want to start with kind of talking individually about how, like, we got into the paranormal as, youth, and then just go from there?
Sure, we can go ahead and do that, and we can get the chatters involved and see how they actually started out in the paranormal community.
Yes, definitely. And that reminds me, before we get started, chatters, just a few things. Please be respectful. I know you guys all will be, but just got to mention that. If you have any questions for us hosts, please make sure and put them in caps so we can see them better. And also we will be having a short little 5-minute break at the top of the hour. So just, and I think that's about it. So this is also spur of the moment. I'm not prepared, but anyway.
Well, being that you're not prepared, Your picture came up first, so you're up to bat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Let's just throw Suzie right under the bus.
That's okay. That's okay. I can deal. All right. Well, I'm Suzie, as you guys all know. Um, so how I got started in the paranormal, well, I basically started to witness paranormal happenings when I was probably about 3 to 4 years old. I would see, shadowy figures. I would see things that I really can't explain at this moment because I was so young, but they were definitely very creepy. I'd also have night terrors. I'd have problems sleeping because these shadow figures would always come to me when I was trying to get to sleep at night. Let's see. I started to have visions, um, future predictions of things to come probably when I was about 9. I would say was when my first one came. And basically, what happened was, and chatters, by the way, feel free to post, comment about when you started. What was your first paranormal experience, and what age were you when that happened, and how did it affect you? So I had my first vision when I was, about 8, 9. I remember I came home from school, and I was home alone at that time, waiting for my parents to come home from work, because this was the 80s, and kids were often, left home alone apparently. But so, but I had this vision that we were going to be robbed, and so my mom came home, and I tried telling her what I had seen in my mind, and she didn't believe me. So we went Christmas shopping, and we came back later that night, and lo and behold, we had been robbed. And so that was, I would say, my first really true paranormal type of experience. And, things just kind of got more and more progressively strange for me as I got older. Started seeing, I don't know how many of you chatters listeners have ever seen a black hooded figure at the end of their bed or around the corner somewhere. But I did start to see a dark hooded figure, and that went on for a very, very long time throughout my teenage and young adult years. And finally, one day when I was in my 30s, sometime I just decided that I wanted to figure out what all this was about. I also had a lot of questions about death that religion could not answer for me. And by the way, I had been baptized into 3 different religions throughout my youth. I was always looking for answers to the afterlife. And so I could never really get those answers. So I decided that I was going to start haunting the afterlife for those answers. And I started a paranormal team that eventually became known as the Mystery Gang. And we just kind of grew from there. And most of the members on my team, which I'll talk about more after we hear from Christina and Brian, but most of them are all family and have been part of the team for going on 10 years. So we're very, very super tight-knit family, blood or not. We are a family, and genuinely really love and care about each other. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started in the paranormal. As far as the visions, I still get them, and since I've been investigating and actually doing readings for people and cleansings and just being really involved in that aspect of the paranormal, my visions have been getting stronger. And I kind of have just embraced the fact that I kind of am a psychic, and I can also communicate with the dead. So I guess I would consider myself a clairvoyant in some ways. So that's kind of me in a little nutshell. Who wants to go next? Brian, Christina.
Brian's on mute.
Yeah, Brian is on mute. Try and get his attention.
We're putting up Christina next.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Ladies first.
Well, my name is Christina. I'm from Old Fort Paranormal Research, based out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. I had my first paranormal experience, again like Suzie, around the age of 3 or 4. I played with the little girl, and she would always take me places where I wasn't supposed to go, and my mom and dad kept saying, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to this person? Blah, blah, blah. And then my mom and dad ended up, my dad was looking for a job out of state, because this little town, it was Sorrento, Illinois, and the town's population at that time was like 86. It didn't even have its own post office. It had like a Legion Hall and a church, and that was it. And so, and a school, a small school. And so I just kept, I just remember we had pigs in the barn, and she would take my hand and we go down to the barn, and the pigs were like really mean. And so my mom and dad kept getting scared and putting locks on the top of the doors. Well, I always found a way to pull a chair over there and unlock it and go down. Well, since I couldn't get away with it in the daytime, then it happened. Anything that happened would happen at night. And so due to unsafe conditions, because right and behind the barn was a 7-acre pond. And my mom and dad were worried that I would fall in this pond in the middle of the night and drown. But I would just be like, well, the little girl's taking me down there. And my mom and dad would say, there's not a little girl. And they said, you're going to get in trouble the next time you go down there. Well, I was crying, saying my friend was taking me. So my dad started looking for a job out of town, moving somewhere bigger, and probably a little better than where we were living. And so about 2 weeks before we left, my dad was packing up stuff in the barn and all that. Well, he found a little girl's mint green dress. And I said, that's what she was wearing, Dad. That's what she was wearing. Well, come to find out, he had talked to his uncle that lived there his whole life. And he said there was a little girl and her grandfather that a previous or part of the barn had burnt, and they both died.
Wow, that just gave me chills.
And so my mom washed the dress, and I could wear it at that time. And so we traveled with the dress from Illinois to Missouri. And things still happened. Actually, it started happening even more. And then I would start, which I never knew the story until I got my teenage years when my dad explained it to me. And the house that we were living in, my grandmother had passed away, not in the home, But I remember I was pregnant, and this little girl woke me up and said, "Hey, come to the hallway." Well, I woke up, and when I don't remember her. I remember her telling me to go to the hallway. Well, when I went to the hallway, my grandmother was holding my daughter, and telling me everything was going to be okay.
Wow.
Like I was fully awake,
Hmm.
and I could see her holding Gina. Couldn't see anything from the waist down. After stuff started happening, my mom and dad threw that dress away. And then like I remember telling you that I've had dreams and stuff happens. Well, now it's happening to me not only in my dreams, but while I'm awake.
So kind of like the visions that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Senses, smells. It's just crazy. And but that's a little bit about me. That's how I got interested. And I wasn't allowed to do it for years because of previous relationship, but I got with Will, and guess what? We are in the paranormal. Right.
And you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
We
We
love
can't
you.
wait to get to Reno and to Texas.
I think I forgot to mention to you guys that I'm in Reno, Nevada. Um, and you know where Christine is at. And Brian is in Texas. Brian used to be here in Reno. So now your turn, Brian.
Oh, I was going to let y'all go ahead and do it for me. No, um, I'm not as gifted as these two ladies, Suzanne and Christina. I got, or I've had my first paranormal experience when I was older. It was back in, I believe, around 1989, and I was in the Air Force. I was stationed over in England and was living in old World War II RAF officer housing. And I had a cat that would kind of stare off into kind of space and watch things. And walking around the house, it would kind of make this kind of detour around something. Um, Heard the footsteps going up and down the stairs, doors opening and closing, ice box opening and not closing, stove turning on and not off. This happened for a while and everything, and yeah, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, and then it just became something that happened from day to day, and I got used to it and kind of joked around with it and everything, saying, if you're going to get in the ice box or use the stove, make sure you close the door and turn the stove off. Um, and just kind of played with it for a while. Um, then one day I got home early from work, and the doors in the upper hallway were all closed, and I saw a the the hatch to the attic kind of raise up, turn 90 degrees, and then set back down. And I didn't know how to actually handle this and everything. I didn't want to tell anybody. Um, I told my wife at the time about it, and she told our neighbors, and the neighbors had experiences also. So I just kind of um, said, okay, I'll just live with it. And after a while, it just went away. I moved back to the States back in 91 and was stationed down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then eventually moved on up to Reno, Nevada. Um, by this time, I had already had kids. Oldest one, I believe at the time, was still in high school. Him and his friend decided to go out to a supposedly haunted um, location close by the house. And they came back after they did this, and I knew nothing about it. And they showed me what they got and was telling me some of the strange stuff going on. And I decided, yeah, if he was going to stay involved with the paranormal, to get in contact with someone that can teach him the right way to go about it, what type of equipment to use, how to protect themselves and stuff. And I contacted a few of the paranormal teams around the northern Nevada area, and the mystery gang. Suzie was the only one that answered my email. We decided to meet up and everything and talk, and basically from that point forward, I've been part of the mystery gang and have developed a huge bond with Suzie and the rest of the team, and have become part of the family. And that's basically how I got involved with the paranormal and the mystery gang.
And then you moved to Texas, but you're still part of our family. So,
Yep. And I'm still looking for members down here in the Corpus Christi area that would like to join in and go and look at some haunted locations.
yeah, so basically the location that Brian is talking about where we first got started, where his son was talking about going and everything, is called Rob Canyon, which I don't know if you guys, if you listeners, chatters. By the way, if you're in the chat, say hi, because we can't always see if you're here. So just give us a hello. But Rob Canyon was basically where the mystery gang got started. That was our first location investigation. So, hi, William. How are you doing tonight? Where are you from? Basically, when I got started with investigating, I didn't really have the intention. Oh, hi, Ursula. North Carolina, cool. And hello, Daryl. I saw you earlier in my live. Well, thank you so much for forcing everyone to listen and also just for being here. Welcome, guys. I want to say really quick for those of you who are new coming in, we were supposed to have a guest from Australia, William Tabone, but family emergency came up, and so we are having to reschedule him. But it's okay because we're still going to have a really fun show. We're just going to talk a little bit about paranormal, just have a conversation with you guys about it. So
did you see what Daryl put?
Yeah, he's everyone.
I'm still here. I'm at work forcing everyone to listen.
Hello, everyone at Daryl's work.
Hello, everyone at Daryl's work.
But anyway, so yeah, we just want to have a conversation with everybody. We're sharing our paranormal experiences and how we got involved in the paranormal, and we also want to hear from you as well. So if you want to put in chat how you got, started in the paranormal, if you have team, let us know your team's name, so on and so forth. But yeah, Rob Canyon here in Reno, Nevada was kind of how I got started. It was our first investigation, not really an investigation. It was just something that I decided I wanted to do because I was curious. And Rob Canyon is this huge rural area outside of Reno. And it's not really something that you should just go out and do in the middle of the night with just maybe a flashlight. But that's kind of what we did because we were so green and we didn't know any better. But after we did that investigation at Rob Canyon, it just really sparked our interest to keep investigating, and eventually we became known as the Mystery Gang. We started doing more and more and more locations. But yeah, that was the place Brian was talking about, and that kind of makes me want to go into with you, Christina. Like, how exactly did your actual team get started?
Well, we were previously with another group that invited us to do investigations, and we were with them for probably a little over a year, maybe, yeah, about 15 months. And Will and I just decided that we wanted to start our own group. And, at first it was just going to be me and him just doing it and going out by ourselves. But we have 5 other investigators with us. But yeah, we got invited to go out and we didn't hesitate. Now, at first, when we went out, of course, they had the EMF reader because, of course, I was a rookie, and the SB7. And I did hear my name, and Will heard it. We wasn't even in the investigation 10 minutes. But then now that we've been doing it for 3.5 years, I'm realizing, well, I don't know if that was a radio station or not, just saying Christina. But that's how we got started. Then we decided to do our own thing, and so here we are.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Thanks for coming in.
That's Justin from Southern Paranormal Hunters.
Justin is pretty much like a brother to all of us. He's amazing. He was on our show back in January, or was it February? Yeah, I think February was our. Yeah, he was in February.
And
he's amazing. He's
getting married next month.
He's getting married soon. I know that, but you guys should check him out. He's got so much integrity, him and his team, and he's family to us. We love him.
We're like a family.
Yeah. It just goes to show that when you have integrity, you find people of integrity, that no matter how far away you are, because he's in Tennessee, no matter how far you are away from each other, you can still, para-unity does rule.
Oh, yes.
Creating that highway of para-unity, it does really work as long as you've got integrity. Daryl says, I just bought the SB11 from the Silver Queen Hotel owner. I like my devices pre-haunted. Now, I know that when I was doing my live talking about tonight's show, Daryl was in there talking about how he had just gone to Virginia City, and that's where the Silver Queen is. So that's very interesting. And
how far is that from you?
That's literally like 20 minutes for me.
Really?
Yeah. So the Silver Queen was where I was telling you, and Brian already knows that in room 11 there's a perv who likes to watch you sleep, and he will do he will do some creepy, perverted stuff while you're sleeping.
So that's where we would put either Brian or Justin when we all get the chance to come out.
Yeah. Brian's like, why won't you go back there, Suzie? I'm like, I'll go back there, but I ain't gonna sleep in that room again. I gotta be some sort of,
Well, Brian, would you sleep in there?
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
Hey, Justin's in chat. Justin, would you sleep in there? I would, but that's just because we stayed in a bed and breakfast in Palmyra, Missouri, in a haunted slave plantation, and me and Will slept in the haunted nursery, and it's the most haunted room in the house. He said, absolutely.
No, not after you go over your audio and hear that some guys, doing stuff while you're sleeping.
He was just breathing in your ear.
No, he was not. I think I know the difference. Oh, and Daryl, did you know that man did kill himself? I believe it was back in 2010 in the Silver Queen. I believe it was room 7.
He stayed in room 11, 7, and 22 last weekend, and not that much activity. Maybe the spirit doesn't like males.
I think it likes.
I think that's kind of a big thing, yeah, because we did the Silver Queen, and we had the 4 rooms at the end of the hallway, which included rooms, I believe it was 10, 11, 12, and 14.
13. So 11, 13, 14, I think 15.
But didn't get much activity in the room that we were in, and the Silver Queen draws people in all the time. So you'll be right in the middle of an investigation or an EVP session and get interrupted by people just coming up and wanting to see. And of course, they don't knock. They just think, okay, well, we'll just try the door and go on in. And and yeah, so, but it was a good investigation for the most part, until we found the bed bugs, and we had to vacate the area.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I will not bring home from an investigation, and that's bed bugs.
You'll bring a spirit home with you.
Oh yeah, spirits are fine, everything. It's just the bed bugs. I don't like those because they're so much harder to get rid of.
Well, we found them in pretty much, so we found them in room 11, room 13, and then the room that you and Tanis were staying in as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was a while ago. That was way back in like 2016. I've been there since. I haven't stayed the night there since. But
yeah, it was way back, but
I didn't find any last time I was there.
I think my favorite place up in that area would have to be the Miners Lodge there in Goldfield.
Yeah, and I believe Daryl said that he had just done.
Gold Hill, not Goldfield.
Yeah, the Gold Hill Hotel and the Miners Lodge. Is that correct, Daryl? I think he stated that he went there as well. See, and it's so funny because I've never had any real experience there, but I know that you have. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got some decent footage from the time that we um, did the investigation there. Um, and then I've had some personal experiences as well at the location. And I have met a few people that have had that same um, personal experience, but I don't know if everyone that goes there gets it. It's the structure behind the miners' lodge is the head end of the mine, and that's where they would send down the elevator with the workers in it. Um, and we had just got back from doing a coffee run, and I was standing outside enjoying the evening. It was kind of cool and everything, and I kept seeing flashing, and it was about every 30 seconds, and couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It almost looked like the little circular lights there at municipal airports. And so I'm watching it, and was thinking, well, maybe somebody's taking pictures, but it was a strange angle because it wasn't lighting up on the side that had the lodge at it or the street. It was away from the street, and it was on the hillside. And then I thought about it. It couldn't have been an airport because there are no airports around that area that have that light. And even if there were, the mountains would block the light. And so I sat there and I watched this for probably a good 10 minutes. And I never thought about getting my camera and recording this. And the next morning, I talked to the caretaker and kind of told him about it. And he said, yeah, what they used to do is when the mine was in operation, that every time they lowered the elevator down or brought it up, there would be a safety light that would flash at a 30-second interval. And he asked me if I heard any bells and whistles, and I said no. And the number of bells and whistles would indicate either the elevator was coming up with so many people in it or going down with so many people in it. And so, yeah, that was a quite interesting thing because there is no electricity out at the structure anymore. And the mine has been covered up and everything. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I loved it. I want to go back and actually next time I will put my DVR camera on the structure and everything, and hopefully be able to capture that on film.
yeah, because I've been back there a good few times after you witnessed that, and I've never seen it. But I've been keeping my eye out. So what I'm trying to do, guys, is I'm trying to find. So while we were doing the Silver Queen, we did actually capture a full body apparition outside of room 11, and I'm trying to find that picture so I can post a link to it in the chat so you guys can view it. But so if you and Christina could just talk for just a second while I see if I can find that.
So I'm taking that, Daryl, you're part of the Shadow Mafia Paranormal, that you're close to Nevada, that area. Where are you located at? And
They're
And
far, they're far
William
from us, Brian.
what?
They're far from me and you.
Oh yeah, yeah. And William, you're in Western North Carolina. Are you part of a paranormal team also? And what locations are near you that you would like to investigate? Ontario, California.
I wonder how far that is from Nevada.
What other data do you have attached to the picture of the full body? Oh, you're talking about the picture that Susie's going to be putting up.
Did y'all take 3 pictures or 4 pictures
9 hour drive.
back?
Okay. So is it down south, down towards Fresno area?
Oh yeah, he's way. Yeah, and see, there we go.
Sorry, guys, I'm having to scroll through a lot of pictures.
Okay.
We have a lot of pictures on our Mystery Game.
Yeah, we with Oldport just recently went to the Vale Mansion in Independence, Missouri, and you know how you hear everybody say that it was just bad, you know. There's evil there. There's people get scratches, blah blah blah. First off, nobody has really investigated it. And so I don't know where, I guess it was because of the history of the gentleman that owned the house when his wife ended up passing away. Him and a buddy of his was in trouble for mail fraud. And he actually got acquitted and the friend got convicted. And this was back in 1895.
Oh, okay.
And so when he was on his way back from the trial, and you know, of course, they were probably horse buggy and all that. So he was a half a day from being at home, and his wife had cancer, and she ended up supposedly overdosing when he was gone, and she died while he was gone. And he couldn't deal with it. And so whenever he decided to bury her, he put her in a glass casket and put her about 3 inches under the ground in the front yard. And so in this house, he built this little, like, it's like a little circle room. And he put windows all around it where he could sit in that room and sit there and watch over his wife. He was mourning her. I mean, he had a hard time with it. And then they call it the room of many faces because in all the woodwork in this room, there's little faces. There's little pig faces, little human faces. I mean, any face you could imagine is just all over this woodwork. And it doesn't look bad. It's actually beautiful.
Sounds creepy to me.
It does sound creepy. I got pictures. I can't post pictures, but there is pictures on the Old Fort Paranormal page. But I will tell you, as in me and us going in, none of us investigators at all felt any negative presence. We didn't get anything negative on any of our recordings yet that we've listened to. We got a hello right after we were just sitting down to investigate, and it was about 5 minutes into it, and you hear a hello. It wasn't a class A, it was light. And then it got quiet for about 45 minutes or so, and then we moved to a different room. by where they did the lobotomies, because after he had lived there, it became a hospital and all this stuff. And we were sitting in this room, and all of a sudden, we were saying, "Hey, can you not give us some sign that you're here?" And we hear a faint footsteps, then it gets louder, and then it goes faint again. Well, on the live feed, I play back the recording. I have played that thing back so many times because you don't want to put up evidence if it's not real. Wasn't somebody. And so every one of the investigators have listened to it. I've had several people from other groups listen to it. They were watching our live feeds, and so I'm pretty sure we got footsteps, and we got a hello. But it wasn't bad. There was the Ghost Adventures was there the week before we were there. They filmed all week, and it's supposed to air next month. So I'm curious to see how bad it's chopped. So, but that would be a place I would want you and Brian. The Mr. Gang page or the Mr. Gang. I wish y'all could go. Wish Justin's team, any paranormal group to go in there. It's an amazing place.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing this summer? A show that we actually just dedicated to the location you're going to be going to?
Oh, yes. In July, we are going to the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. So we're excited. Now, see, that place is told to be really bad, too, but we all go in with an open mind. I'm going to shut out all my research I've done. All of it. I'm just going to go in with an open mind.
Well, I think it's okay to do research to a certain extent, but for the show, we went full on out on research. How do you chatters feel about doing research before you go to a location? By the way, I'm still looking for this picture. Sorry, I have so many pictures left on
Hey, we are live.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, how do you guys feel about that? And are you truly, really, Christina, going to be able to, shut all that out and go in naked, as I like to call it?
Yeah.
Well,
I normally do all of the I normally do all the research. I just don't say nothing to nobody. I don't know how Brian feels about it, but
I myself, I would rather go into a location cold and not know about what the claims are, due to the fact that I don't want to have anything. I don't want to be pre-biased about what I should be looking for, and possibly manifest that myself. So if I don't know what's going on, that leaves me basically a blank slate and everything. So I could go in and have the experiences for myself, then come back and compare what I experienced to what has been reported. That's the way I did my investigations when I was just an investigator. Being now that I'm going to be a team leader and going to lead the investigations, I have to find out what's going on, but I leave that up to the other investigators if they want to know or not.
So Justin says depends on the location, and William says, let's say confirmation bias is a tough thing to deal with. So yeah, going with zero expectations is usually a better way to go.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, and I'm on Brian's side now. I mean, when I was a youngin' and I was more green, I used to actually really love doing the history as far as the hauntings go, but I've changed a lot over the last 10 years. And I no longer do that. I do like to go in unbiased and kind of naked, as I like to call it. And so, yeah, I think it works out better that way. A lot better, actually. So, guys, I did find the picture.
Daryl put, "Baha, Aaron, go lay in the glass casket." Unfortunately,
yeah, actually, William was kind of interested in looking at that picture. So
it's right here. I hope. Oh, it's telling me error. It's telling me error. Try again.
is it on the Facebook page?
Yeah, do you want me to? How can we get it up here? I'm going to try one more time.
Oh, I'll look and pull it up and see what I can get.
You want me to put it here in the Skype chat? Maybe?
No, I'll find it.
It's like way, way, way towards the bottom. You have to scroll through a lot of pictures.
No problem.
We will definitely get that picture up for you guys, though. It's an awesome, amazing picture. And we do have a few other pictures, too, that we can show if we can get them up again. We would have been more prepared for this, but again, we were supposed to have William Tabone as the guest, and so we were prepared for that. But yeah, so I definitely agree with you guys when it comes to now that I'm older and wiser, and just going in with kind of a clean slate, not knowing, because you never know. You really, literally never know what's rumor. I know that here in Virginia City, when it comes to the Silver Queen, the Washoe Club, a lot of what is being said is not fact, it's just rumor. So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt and just kind of, just go in there with no expectations about who is haunting there, what the rumors are, and so on and so forth. Right, Christina?
Yeah. And see, we did go in blind to the Vell Mansion. We didn't know anything about it. I decided I wasn't gonna. We learned a little bit of the information from the lady that was there to let us in, because they always give you kind of a little history, and so we asked her to not give us so much information. We said we didn't really want to know a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then after, of course, you get back to your motel room. If you're not at home, you get back to your motel room, whatever, and you're like, I want to find out about this place now. And so I probably slept maybe an hour when we got back to the motel room before we got up and came back home, because then I was interested after we had went in there and the few things that happened. But I mean, we were the second investigators to go in there. There was one other group that went in before us, which was right when they had opened up, and then Ghost Adventures went in for a week, and then we went in. So it's a new location. They just got it remodeled and stuff. So
sorry, my daughter's trying to talk to me right now. I gotta love live, guys. Gotta love guys. Hang on one sec.
Did you find it yet, Bri?
No, not yet. So keep talking.
Keep talking.
Okay, guys, got it handled. She's thirsty. She's thirsty. But I gotta go get her a drink on break. Luckily, we're going to break soon. Yes, Daryl, that was me who had some notifications.
Ding ding.
Usually I log out of Facebook, but I was scrolling through my pictures, so now all my notifications are coming through. Oh, I'm loving this show, guys. So, yeah, we got 2 minutes, so we're going to go to break. I think when we come back, we're going to talk about, like, our favorite locations and maybe some of our bloopers we can talk about.
Oh Lord, are you kidding me?
We've had bloopers.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Brian knows of some of our bloopers. Right, Brian?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, yeah. And then we'll talk about some of our favorite like types of equipment, and we'll ask the chatters what they like to use and the advantages and disadvantages of that, and then we'll do some team updates, like what's going on, because I'm doing something with my team. Not this weekend, but next weekend, which I'm really kind of excited to talk about. And then, Brian, while you're looking through those pictures, can you see if you could find our Geiger grade apparition picture?
Is it that one?
Hang on a second. Yes, sir. That is the Silver Queen apparition one.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you could manage to find the Geiger grade one, that
Okay.
one's a really good one too.
Okay, let me just put this one in chat real quick.
I want to see
Not in chat, in the
in the slideshow.
well, it's not going to be a slideshow. I'll just put it up. Where did I put it? There.
William said, "Give it to me."
Hi, Jody. Glad you could make it.
Hi, Jody.
Okay.
We're kind of doing a random show right now because our guest had to reschedule.
Okay.
So.
There is the photo.
Okay.
It's up there so people can see it now.
Okay. Yay! What do you guys think?
Brian.
Thank you, Brian. What do you guys think of that photo? We'll let you guys look at it because we got to go to break for about 5 minutes. Take a look at, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn off my Facebook because I keep getting notifications. So yeah, take a look at that picture, and then when we come back from break, you guys can tell us what you think about it. So we'll be back in 5. Okay, guys? Don't go anywhere.
control you, just as in a game. But don't try to fight me back. You can't break me. Try it, and you shall see. I'm back. Boo. You are unprepared. I would swear you are pretty scared. It is like a magic show, a darker flow. I won't let you go. I'm here. I control you, just as in a game. But don't try to fight me back. You can't break me. Try it, and you shall see. Shall see. Shall see. I'm back. Boo.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Sorry. Brian, you need to stop sharing your screen because I can barely see you. Welcome back, guys, to our spontaneous show tonight, Haunting the Afterlife Radio. If you're just now tuning in, we were supposed to have a guest, William Tabone, but he had to postpone. So that's okay, because we're having a really fun time just talking about whatever and getting to know our listeners and chatters as far as, if they have teams, if they have favorite locations, just fun stuff like that. So, what about the picture? Brian just posted a picture of what the Mystery Gang captured at the Silver Queen here in Virginia City, Nevada.
Did you see the question that William asked? Do you have a photo of the same location during the day?
Nope, I do not.
That was one of our former teammates that took that picture.
Yeah.
Now, did they take 3 consecutive or 4 consecutive pictures back to back?
Nope.
Oh, they didn't.
Nope. Yeah, and that was actually shown to me a few days after the investigation when she was going through her pictures. So, but that place was dead. No pun intended. It was literally like dead. Um, there was nobody there. I mean, it was just, we were like pretty much um, were the only guests there. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think it's pretty creepy for sure. What do you think about that, Christina and Brian?
Um, I actually had a really good time during that investigation. I did bring out quite a bit of my equipment. I set up a DVR camera system um, down in the hallway in each of the rooms that we've had. And then going over all that video footage and audio footage. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come up with anything. It was more of the investigators that were actually in room 11 that came up with more of the stuff than I did.
I believe that was the time when, so we had like, was that that was the night when we found the bed bug, so we didn't actually stay the night, right?
No, we didn't actually stay the night, but we did actually have some really interesting things. We had, well, you experienced the two K2 meters kind of syncing up and answering questions. And they were about a foot apart, and both of them would light up exactly the same when you're asking the questions.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was back in the day when I definitely loved my K2 reader. Not, I don't really use it that much anymore, but back in that day I loved it. It was my baby. And another investigator there, the one that actually took this picture, she had hers, which she claimed never worked. So she asked me if I wanted to put it next to mine and to see what would happen. Well, they both started syncing up and they were going off like a light show together. And kind of it seemed like they were answering questions. So we would ask, and I mean, they were lighting all the way up to red. So it was just crazy. And I wish we could have captured that on video. And unfortunately, we couldn't because we had him, if I remember correctly, we had him sitting on the bed. And then part of the comforter was sticking up and disturbing the view from your from your DVR.
Yeah, I think one of the investigators got up from the bed, and when they did, it kind of the blankets kind of pulled up and kind of shielded the equipment from the view of the camera.
Yeah, which was, yeah, made me pretty sad. So let's see what Daryl says. Daryl says, I video recorded in room 7 all night while I was sleeping. Also recorded with 4 high-end mics. Did have a shadow figure walk by me while I was sleeping in room 11. So yeah, Daryl, this might be your man right here.
Well, I thought room 11 was the female.
No, I never captured a female, really. I did hear a woman talk one night when I was sleeping. I woke up to a woman moaning, like right next to my ear, so that was weird. And yeah, supposedly Rosie haunts room 11 because supposedly Rosie killed herself in the bathtub there in room 11. But I mean, like we discussed before, I mean, that's just hearsay, that's just rumor.
Yeah.
There's no proof of that. But what I have found is proof of a man. So who he is, we still don't know. Is he the man who killed himself in room 7? Is he a man from way back in the day, in the 18 or early 1900s or whatever? We don't really know, but I know I definitely captured a man many times on audio, the perv that I was talking about when I was trying to sleep. And of course, this picture, to me, this picture looks like a man more than it does female, but it's a little hard to tell. But I get the man vibe from it for sure.
So, what EVPs did you get from there?
Oh gosh, a lot of moaning. I can't really go into detail because this is not a X-rated show. But as far as like actually, oh look, it's Louise.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Louise. I've been telling everyone about you. That's Louise, who I used to babysit when I was a kid, and he went out with us to the abandoned mental asylum. But as far as like actual EVPs of like somebody saying something, no, not much at all. Just a lot of grunting, moaning. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The walls there are fairly thin, and they have the transoms that connect the hallway and the rooms.
That is true, but
well, I mean the night that we set up the camera when we found the bed bugs, there was a wedding party.
Well, you're getting more action than I am. What do you think? What do you think I'm going to do when something happens to me?
Do what?
What do y'all think I'm going to do when something eventually happens to me, when it's my time? I feel like, hi, Brian. Hi, Suzie.
Well, I will tell you this, though. The audio that I did capture in room 11 while I was trying to sleep scared me so bad I will not sleep in that room again. I will not. I will investigate the room, but I will not sleep in there. So, and I also have been talking to Jen. She's also had the same experience in room 11 and 13, and she calls him the creeper as well. So she also has audio of grunting and moaning, and it sounds like somebody is like stomping around you while you're trying to sleep and then just having a great old time looking at you while you're sleeping. So that was horrifying for me. That was absolutely horrifying. And I know you have to be there and experience it for yourself, but the Silver Queen is still, it's not my baby. We all know what my baby is, but it's one of my probably most favorite places, but most horrifying. I will not sleep there.
What's one of Brian's favorite places?
I would have to say the Miners Lodge there in Gold Hill.
Yeah, that's his baby. He needs to get his butt back here so we can investigate it again as a team.
Yeah, eventually I'll get back there and visit.
Eventually. So casual about eventually. We went there. Lisa and I went there February. Another team invited us, Willow Paranormal invited us to go. And that was kind of a horrific night because you felt like you were in the movie The Shining because of all the snow, and we were kind of stranded at the Gold Hill Lodge and Hotel. Couldn't really move because there was like 4 feet of snow everywhere. But I haven't actually gone over our footage from that night.
Well, at least you didn't have the guy breaking through the door with the axe going, "Here's Johnny."
Oh, but you know what's funny is we almost did have someone break through the door, and I don't know what was going on with that. So we were staying the night in Rosie's room at not in the Silver Queen, but there's another Rosie's room at the Gold Hill hotel, and we had actually gone to bed early because we were kind of bored. And it was, I want to say at like 5 in the morning, somebody was like banging on our door, and we were scared. We didn't say
I remember you telling us about that.
We didn't want to say anything, so we were scared. But anyways, speaking of Ryan's favorite, what's your favorite, Christina?
Probably this year.
Or in general? And
Just your ultimate favorite.
Probably the someplace in time in Palmyra, Missouri.
Someplace in time. That sounds familiar. That may have been one of the places when you were on our show way back in the day.
There was.
When we were on Ghost Call Radio, or I remember that place.
Yes, it was. Like I said, me and Will slept in the nursery, and I made sure that I hurried up and got in bed and got against the wall, because the bed was against the wall, and I wasn't sleeping on the outside. He's got to protect me. He's got to be on the outside. And I would doze on and off. Like nobody that was there slept for 2 days, 2 nights. I mean, we were all so tired when we got home because you just don't want to sleep. But then when you go to sleep, you're like, I'm not going to sleep. So we get down for the night and I'm dozing off and Will pats me on the leg. He's like, it got cold in here. And I'm like, no, it didn't. I said, just get I'm under the blankets, the same ones you're under. And then rocked on. I fell asleep. I slept probably about an hour and then I feel another tap. Something just brushed my arm. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That was the second night. Nothing happened the first night. But the second night, stuff seemed to be happening to poor Will. I'm like, well, the way the house is set up, she's still making a bed and breakfast, but she cooks for you while you're there. You get breakfast and you get dinner, and then usually she does a dessert. But there's like slave quarters where they used to cook in the back, or the kitchen was like separate from the home. Then you had the male slave quarters and then the female slave quarters. And then out past that was a big old barn. And when we were investigating in there that night, there was my sister was there, first paranormal investigation she had ever been on. And we were all just standing in there. And one of the investigators said that he got a little sick in the stomach. Well, about that time, we all have flashlights on, but I see this big old black blob coming through the barn, and I'm like, my eyes just got real big. Well, Will fell towards me, another investigator fell kind of over to the right a little bit, and then something brushed my shoulder blade, and we never figured it out. We were like, what was that?
Creepy.
But that place had a lot of activity while we were there. So that would probably be that's the place. I keep saying Bell Mansion. Y'all need to go there too. I'll have to send y'all the stuff to look it up.
What about you, chatters? What are your favorite, what are kind of like your babies? Like pretty much almost, I think everybody's got a baby. What are your babies? William, Daryl, Justin of Southern Parent. I know what Justin's baby is, but I don't know if he'll be going back there again.
Daryl said, I hate all it has a bathtub in the middle of the damn room. What?
Yeah, that's one thing with the Silver Queen. They had bathtubs in the rooms, and it was like you had maybe 18 inches from like the foot of the bed to the tub. And back during the day, they didn't have tubs in the room. They didn't have bathrooms in the room. So, yeah, it was quite interesting. Bodhi, I've heard really kind of weird tales from Bodhi. And
Yeah.
I believe Susie, y'all went out to Bodhi and did a day investigation there.
Yeah, we did. That was way back in, I believe, 2016. So basically, we had to do just a normal day type of visit because you can't just go there and investigate freely at night. But we did manage to capture some really good EVPs of children actually over at the schoolhouse. So if you want to listen to those, you can go to our other YouTube channel, the Mr. Gang's YouTube channel, and I did a little mini documentary of our little adventure out to Bodhi, and you can hear some of our EVPs on there. But I mean, Bodhi is just an amazing place to go visit anyway, whether you're a paranormal investigator or not. I mean, the town is just so preserved. You just look through the windows of all these little buildings, all these little houses and stores, and you can still see artifacts from way back in, the 1900s. It's just really, really, really cool, and it's not expensive at all. So now they do have nighttime tours, which I've been trying to plan an investigation to go out there actually at the nighttime tour, which starts at 10, I believe, and goes for like an hour. But we've just never gotten back out there. And there's also the curse of Bodhi. So do never, never, never take anything from Bodhi. Never.
Hey, they said that when we went down to in October when me and Will went down to Florida and did Fort Pickens and come back up through. We went to Merle's plantation and we went to Marie Laveau's gravesite. And one of the people that was there working, because they don't allow you to go in by yourself anymore. You can go in with somebody, and if you want to sit and talk and see if you can get something, they'll sit there and wait. But I asked her about that. I said, has anybody ever, because some lady went to pick up a rock, and she said, make sure you don't take that with you. And the lady was like, really? She said, oh, you'll bring it back. How far do you live from here? And the lady said like 11 hours or something. And she said, and you'll drive those 11 hours back. Because I guess there was a couple of people that took stuff home, rocks and whatever from around in that cemetery. And they said they brought them back quick.
Yeah, I don't think you should ever really take anything.
No, that's not, yeah.
From anywhere if you think it's haunted, because the energy from that place can be trapped in that object, and yeah, come home with you, right?
Mm-hmm. And Justin put his new favorite is the Fair Elementary School. I think that's in Iowa. Either Indiana or Iowa, but if he left his house to go up that way, he come pretty close to Fort Smith. So if he did that and he didn't let me know he was coming by somewhere close, he gonna be in trouble.
Busted. No, I remember him talking about, I think on the first show, because Justin's been on our show twice. I think it was on our first show. He was talking about that place, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, Justin says it's Iowa. Yeah. So, well, you guys want to hear about my favorite place, or should I not talk about it? Because I always talk about it.
Go for it.
Oh wait, we should probably address because William said we currently are still messing around with the Brown Mountain lights and the Sparrow incident.
I haven't heard of that. Have y'all?
Well, I just looked up the Brown Mountain Lights. It says Brown Mountain Lights are a series of ghost lights reported near Brown Mountains in North Carolina. The lights can be seen from the Blue Ridge Parkway at milepost 310 and 301, and from Brown Mountain Overlook on North Carolina Highway 181 between Morganton, North Carolina, and Linville.
Sounds fascinating. I never heard that though.
I think it's sort of similar to the Farmer lights here in Texas. But yeah, they got some pictures of it. It looks quite interesting. As far as the other one, I don't know what that other one is either. I have to look that up real quick.
Well, and then there's the Guardian. There's the Guardian lights, here in Arkansas. So,
what did the Men in Black say? Oh, it was just swamp gas reflecting off. Policeman ID man killed in Dinsboro tractor accident. Is that what we're talking about? Or the fire incident in 2006?
Oh, I was hoping it was going to be a serial killer.
Y'all and serial killers. Speaking of the documentaries, I just noticed that they've got a documentary on the Axe House on Netflix.
Of the what?
The Axe House.
Yeah. They do.
Write it down, Suzie.
I probably already watched it. William says he don't buy the swamp gas theory.
Then, in that case, we do have a guest coming up, a Mr. Richard Lenny, that you might be very, very interested in listening to. He's a ufologist.
Yup. He's scheduled for, I believe it's August 2nd. He's a very, very, very well-known ufologist. Last time we had him on our show, the UK military tried to shut the network down.
Yeah, we actually had DDoS attacks on the servers broadcasting the show, and so our the production crew had to be on their toes trying to stop this, and it all led back to a multi-nation weapons development company out of the UK.
Yeah. But what are they gonna do to us? Because we're YouTube. What are they gonna do to us?
So William, what is this Dillsboro incident? Can you kind of enlighten us a little bit more on that? I couldn't find anything on there except for like an auto wreck and a tractor incident.
Oh, I know, Justin. We're going to meet up soon someday. Soon. That road trip for you to go to Suzie is going to be a long way.
I'll take a look at that and everything and let you know what I think. But Yeah, being down here in Corpus Christi, where I'm at now, I've got a few areas that I would like to go investigate, and one of them sits right off the coast, and it's about maybe 20-minute drive from me, and it's the USS Lexington, and I want to go and do a investigation there. And then just a little north of me, I've got the Yorktown Hospital, which is a closed down hospital that I would like to go investigate. But yeah, there's a lot of quite interesting little places around here. Um, Being the fact that a lot had to do with the Texas Revolution, everything. There are plenty of battlefields and around here that I would like to go investigate.
Yeah, you got to get to it, Brian.
Yeah, I got to find some more people that are willing to go hang around with me in the dark.
It's not, you know what? It's not easy. Like, it's
No, it's actually not easy finding people that want to hang around with you in the dark, that are passionate about the paranormal.
With
You have those
integrity.
you have those people that want to get that adrenaline rush and everything, but that's it. You don't always get an adrenaline rush every time you go out. I I mean, you go out sometimes and you're bored half to death, and you want to sleep and just go home. And
yeah, and
you're
that,
praying you're praying that a cat jumps out somewhere just to give you a little bit of excitement. Um,
yeah, and
other
that's when you
is
just basically have to have like faith on your equipment, like your audio and your visual equipment, and
Yeah.
just pray that when you get home and you're going over things, that something happened that you didn't know about.
Speaking of equipment, I've actually been watching a lot of the new paranormal shows that have been coming out. I've watched Ghost Bait a few times, and there was a device that she was using in the program. It was a infrared camera, but it looked like it was on a like an iPad or a phone, and I wanted to see if anybody knew what that was. And then I watched the new program that Katrina and Jack are doing.
Hmm.
Um, um, what was it? Portals to Hell,
Hmm.
and they did the Twin City uh, Theater, and she had a device that was very interested, and I would like to find out more about it. She said the name, but I couldn't catch it. Um, uh, Geophone, Geobox.
Oh, the Geobox, that's her favorite thingy, remember?
Yeah.
Is that with what was his name?
Nick, the show that she was doing with Nick, remember when we interviewed her, she talked about how she loved the Geobox,
Right,
and then
right. Is that the device that Steve Huff made?
it's not the exact device, but it's similar to it. So the Geobox is similar to God. There's so many other similar devices to it. From
Yeah.
the Phantom. What do you call it, Christina? Um, the one that you guys were using recently.
I guess I'll have to get a hold of Katrina and actually see if she'll give me the name of that item.
Well, I know it's the Geobox, and I know they now do have an app for it. But the Geobox, the big old, huge radio-looking thing
Yeah.
that I was using at the Goldfield Hotel, I'm not fond of it. I mean, it's basically like using the SB7 or SB11, except basically, I don't even know how to explain it. This huge speaker device. So it's really loud and it's very echoey, but it works almost the same. It goes through the radio channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been very, very leery of the ghost boxes due to the fact that they go ahead and they scan the frequencies and you hear that white noise. But this one here, it was different. You didn't hear any of the white noise. You just heard kind of an echoey type voice, and it was quite interesting. And I might want to try to experiment with that. And
Daryl says it's similar to the portal, and that's another name for it that I was trying to think of, the portal. And then he says they use EchoVox with the Geobox.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know some people over in England that use EchoVox.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to use it a few times. I just can't use those devices because they're too echoey and they're just
annoying.
Yeah, kind of like you want to take some Tylenol.
Ibuprofen box.
Yeah. I'm yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was just going to ask William and Daryl and anybody else out there, what equipment do they like? Do you like the digital stuff? Do you like old school analog? Let us know. And what's some of your favorite equipment?
Will and
I was thinking actually about. Go ahead.
Will and I, we set up compasses.
Well, yeah, I mean that's old school. It's definitely an analog. Actually, not even analog. It's just a needle.
I believe it was Nick Humphreys who was on our show one time, and he likes to use the compass.
Oh yeah, because I mean it will move to the magnetic fields.
I personally, I used to really love to use equipment because I feel like it's always fun to use a new piece of equipment and experiment with that. But I've kind of learned over time that I really actually just prefer to use my own body.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's great for people that have that gift. I mean, yeah, my senses do pick up, but I'm not gifted in the ability to well, I don't know how.
Well, you know what, Brian? I think that maybe if you were to just try to do that maybe a few times, or maybe more than a few times, maybe it would kind of open your senses a little bit more to where you might start to experience a little bit more just using your own body. But I mean, of course, I'm not saying that you should go out there and not like document your investigations. So just going out there with no audio recorder or a camera. I always go out with my audio device and camera, but I'm just talking about your, all those other fancy types of equipment everyone's using, and then also the apps. People are using a lot of apps. So
That's I don't like using apps. period. I actually don't even like taking my phone when I go on investigations. I'll leave it in my vehicle close by, or I'll put it into airplane mode where it's not sending and receiving data, um, because that can trigger EMF meter to acknowledge that there's an EMF spike. So yeah, I tend to not use that. I want to try to get back to old school and do some the old school experiments, like with the negatives. I want to try see if I can find like reel to reel tapes and
Yeah.
actually try doing some of the old school type of things. I've kind of experimented with the flashlight technique and everything, and you know that's great for some people, and if it works for them, that's great. It just didn't work for me. Not into dowsing rods.
Yeah, you gotta check Amazon, because I could have swore that I seen them selling those old tape recorders again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even if you can find just like a little micro mini 8 cassette recorders, just something like that. But trying to find like film is getting virtually impossible now.
True.
Due to the fact that everything's going digital.
Oh gosh, and speaking of old school, I'm trying to find Zoe. She loves to take pictures. I'm trying to find her a real old fashioned Polaroid camera, because she
Good
hasn't.
luck with that.
Yeah. Well, she has one of the new age ones, which she loves to take pictures with when we go investigating, but the pictures are like super tiny.
Oh, you want the big one where you actually have to shake it. You shake the Polaroid picture.
There are some on eBay and stuff, but they are super.
Yeah, but you're going to be paying like $50 for a cartridge of film.
But I think it would be so much fun for her to encourage her, because that seems to be like what she really likes to do at this point. Just so you guys know, she's only 11. She likes to go investigating with us. So that's kind of like her thing lately. So,
yeah. William was just saying, of course, standard mask and safety stuff, first aid type. Yeah, that was one of our biggest things was safety. We would always go out and check out the location during the daytime, so we would have some idea of what to expect and a kind of tag where the hazards are at. And then at night, I spent 25 years military, so it was something I took on myself, but I would make sure the rest of the team was safe also. So I was always on alert, not only for myself, the spirits, but for the team. And eventually I got to the point where I didn't get a lot of things happening. I didn't capture that many EVPs, nothing on film and everything. And I think what it was is I had put myself into that guardian type position, watching out for all the other team members and everything, that it built a kind of a big barrier around me, so I didn't get interacted with as much.
I totally agree with that, Bri, because now that you're gone, I'm kind of in your position, being the team lead, and it's really hard to, when you're trying to be the lead and trying to look after everyone, it's really hard to have yourself open to what's going on around you,
Oh, yeah,
paranormal, you know?
yeah. And not only that, I mean, watching out for your teammates and everything, and is paramount. And
Mhm.
I know my team really, really well. I know their personalities. I know if all of a sudden their personality changes or their mannerism changes. And I know from then that I need to get that person out and get them grounded. Um, and at your favorite location, 600 Geiger grade, maybe that's one of the reasons why I always had the stones thrown at me, was because I had this guardian type persona that I was giving off, and it wanted to be more in control. And that's why it never messed with me except for throwing rocks at me, but it messed with everybody else.
In worse ways, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like such as possession or yeah, like
Well,
making
yeah,
you
it definitely did take over your thoughts and your actions. That very first investigation.
which we will be going back out there again this summer, by the way. Because I cannot just not go out there. So,
And William says our equipment we take out depends on what our objectives are and what data we are collecting. If it's indoors, we carry mostly environmental testing equipment, recording devices, and infrasonic meters.
mhm.
Yeah, a lot of things can play on indoor locations. Of course, you've got the EMF. If it's got large EMF signatures, it can cause the depression, the paranoia, make you ill if you're very sensitive to that. And there's other things that you have to kind of watch out for. Um, a lot of the older places, you have to watch out for asbestos. You got to watch out for lead paints, uh,
Black mold.
black mold.
Rat and mouse droppings are not good for
Oh
you.
yeah. You have to watch out for the hantavirus. Yeah. You got to watch out for snakes,
Gosh, don't mention that. That's my biggest fear.
rabies,
Ugh.
uh, carbon monoxide. Yep. But yeah, leaks. Yeah, and you got to
Snakes. The no ropes. We got a lot of those out here, so.
not only that, you got to watch out for scorpions. One of the locations that you went to, you had that nice little scorpion down in the basement, and
Yeah.
somebody squished it. Um, uh,
That was
and
the Goldfield Hotel, guys, by the way.
Or when me and Will were at Bloody Mary's down.
yes, you have to watch out for gas too. Those gasless
That would be Will.
anomalies. But you also have to watch out for the homeless, transients, people that are doing things they shouldn't do in these locations. One locations we went to, there was a giant magic circle on the floor. I don't know if it was a satanic ritual or what.
Are you talking about Geiger Grave?
Yeah, remember
Yeah,
that.
that was confirmed that that was actually um satanic type of yes. So hairs from homeless popping up out of nowhere. Oh my gosh. So speaking of everything you're talking about, Brian, and you know what you're saying, William, because we got to wrap up soon. Don't leave,
Yeah.
guys, because we have a few announcements we got to make. But I'm posting right now, I'm posting our group pages in chat. So you guys can come along and follow us on our paranormal adventures. So I've got Christina's Old Fort Paranormal link in there, and our Mr. Gang link. So come and like and follow. And we always go live on our investigations and post pictures, and it's just very informative and everything. But so with that being said, we're going to talk about, I guess we'll talk about our team announcements, because I personally have a big, huge team announcement to make. But before I talk about that, Christina, do you have any team announcements? Not a group shouts yet. We'll talk about that in a minute, but do you have any team announcements?
Yes, we will be doing a bed and breakfast in Arkansas. As I'm pretty sure it's the 1st of June that we're doing that. Then in July, we're going to the Sally House.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
And then we've got plans for August, but I'm not gonna confirm it yet.
Okay.
So
And you guys are gonna be going live, right?
we will be going live at all of the investigations that we go to. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So everybody come watch and see
Yeah.
hear something we don't hear.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we love to go live. It's actually a very invaluable tool to go live. A lot of people think we just do it because we want to, you know, get attention or whatever, but really it is invaluable because we can actually have remote viewers who can maybe hear or see things that we're not hearing and seeing at the time. So definitely follow Christina's page and when she goes live. Now, as far as the Mr. Gang goes, we next weekend on May 18th, and I wish Luis was still here. Luis, are you still here? Hello. I think you might have left, but May 18th, we are going back to an undisclosed location. It's an abandoned insane asylum in California, and that's all I can say about it. I cannot tell you the name because it's dangerous. We don't want any new paranormal investigators going out there because it is highly, highly, highly dangerous place. I know Brian probably won't even watch us when we go live, right, Brian?
I saw the pre-investigation, and yeah, I probably won't watch it. But be very, very careful out there. There are a lot of holes in the floor and lots of debris everywhere, and the place is huge. So don't go off on your own because you could run into anything there.
Yeah, we kind of learned that on our pre-investigation there. We did find blood. We did find bullet holes. And we were being stalked by a bobcat. So, yeah, this is going to be we do have a large team going with us. A lot of the Mr. Gang team actually Whenever I say undisclosed, I mean the bar is haunted. I just drink. Very funny, William.
Hey, William, they're spirits also.
Anyways, guys, so a lot of my team did actually back out because of the dangers associated to this investigation. So I did have to recruit a few extra people to go. So we do have about 7 people going with us. We are going to be very careful. We are going to be having to take not only extra precautions and measures for the negative entities that are there, but also mace, tasers, things of that nature. So it is, what it is. We are going back out there again. That's May 18th. We are planning to go live probably around, I want to say 9 PST. We are not going to be out there too late. So we're going to try to do kind of like an early investigation. So maybe from like 9 to midnight and then head back, because it is about an hour and a half drive from Reno. But that's kind of what we have coming up. Other than that, we will be having more coming up, of course, in June and July. But yeah, so that's what we have coming up. As far as our next show goes hang on, let me look at my notes here. Okay, so on May 24th, we have a guest, and I'm really excited about this because we have Jason Nelms of Sinister Sightings, and I'm going to put his link real quick here in the chat. I'm really excited about this because he's actually the Mystery Gang's sister team. So I'm very, 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 very excited to have him on. He was on our show almost 2 years ago, and he is amazing. Him and his group are just full of integrity. And I'm also really excited because we normally have people from our groups from, the South, and then also we have a lot of groups from like Australia and New Zealand and stuff, but we don't always have a lot of groups from my area here in Nevada and California. So, and he's in Lone Pine, California. So I'm really excited to have him on the show. So check out his Facebook group, and that's going to be my group shout. And I know that Christina also has her own group, Facebook group shout.
Yes. Haunted, Old, and Beautiful by Amanda from APS. Amazing page. If everybody wants to go out there and like it and follow her stuff, you'll definitely fall in love.
Now, she is William Tabone's wife, and again, he was supposed to be on our show tonight, and she is just lovely. We got to talk to her a little bit a few weeks ago via Skype, and she's just such a sweet lady. So definitely check out and give your support to that group. I put the link there in chat. Brian, did you have anybody you wanted to give a shout to, or?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Creepy Hollow. Great group. Go out, look them up on Facebook. A lot of good people in the group and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, they've been allowing us to share our promo videos and just whatever it is. They've been allowing it whenever. They're just amazing. So definitely check them out. And then I have one more link I want to give you guys. Do not forget to check out our Haunting the Afterlife Facebook group page. Come on over, be a member. This is a place where you can share on Mondays, whatever it is you want to share, as long as it's, paranormal related. And it's also a place where you can keep updated on our future guests and things like that nature. So I'm pretty
I can see you from behind. You can hear me in your mind. Run so fast as you can go. Time will catch you before you know.
definitely try and share. We love that. So I think that's really about it. Does anybody have any questions? Bri, Christina, anything else?
Yeah, just go out, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and keep update on what everyone's doing.
We do. I very much appreciate you guys just hanging in there with us tonight. We did have a show planned and it didn't work out the way we wanted, but I think we still had a really fun show. And thank you so much, William and Justin and Daryl and everyone else who was here, Ursula, Louise, everybody. Thank you so much for helping us to have a successful show tonight. And we very much look forward to seeing you on May 24th with Jason Nelms. So thank you, William. He says, I think you guys just did fine.
Thank you, William.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We love you guys and couldn't do the show without you. So we appreciate you very much. And thank you also, Justin. He says, have a blessed rest of y'all night. Love y'all. Well, we love you too, Justin. We love all you guys. And with that, I'm going to say love and light and peace.